right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the final game of my football time season. This is the very first ever Graham Cup. Naming this after Jason Graham, who created this game, and I've just enjoyed this football season immensely. This will be game number 136 of this season. A lot of games, but a lot of fun. So, the first annual Graham Cup. Here we go. It's the Okanagan Suns versus the St. John's Clippers. Just for a quick recap, in the West Final, Okanagan Suns were playing in Winnipeg. And the final score there was Okanagan Suns 29, Winnipeg Red Foxes 23. So Okanagan winning on the road with the upset there. In the East Final, it was the Toronto Metropolitans at the St. John's Clippers. And the Clippers took that game 24-10. So here we go. The Suns versus the Clippers in the first ever Graham Cup. And I've got the ratings all done up here. Okanagan has a C, D, B, C. And St. John's a D, D, A, C. So it's pretty even up here. And there's not going to be any home advantage in this game. This is played at a neutral site. And neither has any advantage, I've decided, in the final. So, yes, this is the final game of the season. I'm gonna miss it for sure, but I'm looking forward to the off season, where I can come up with some rules for drafting and maybe trades, maybe some retirements. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to come up with something so that next season. So the off-season kind of exciting. Maybe I'll have a video on the off-season and what happens. But I've just really enjoyed this whole season. So without further ado, let's just get this game going here. So let's see who gets first ball. It's going to be St. John's. All right, St. John's. Here we go. The game is underway. 6 minutes off the clock. Down to the 9-minute mark. That is a St. John's D5. Look at that. TD right off the bat for St. John's. And that is a TD run. 7. So the Clippers on the board. 7-0. Okanagan. Okanagan's ball. 3 minute down to 6 minute mark. Ooh, that is a Okanagan C1 interception. Yee. All right. Can the Clippers take advantage of this? Looks like they cannot. 1 minute off the clock. With that snake eyes, St. John's, they are D, move up to a C, but it's a C1. They come back with an interception of their own. So the defense is coming up big fairly early in the game here. Oh, sorry, that was a D. Oh yeah, he went up to a C1, right? Yeah, it's still an interception. Okay, so Okanagan is the C, moving up to the B rating here on that interception. B rating, we're going into the Q2 actually. And that would, Q2 here. Just erase that. 6 minutes off the clock. That's down to the 14-minute mark of the second quarter. And that's a 5. Quarter 2, Okanagan is a D. They move up to a C. C5 is a field goal. So, after quarter 1, after the first quarter, it was 7-0 for the Clippers over the Suns. And Okanagan scored a field goal, so they've cut the lead to 7-3. St. John's. All right, here we go. 2 more minutes, down to the 12-minute mark. That's a 6. St. John's is a D, D6. They score a field goal. So St. John's on these two D ratings in quarter 1 and quarter 2 are scoring some points. Good to see. Good for those their fans there. All right, and Okanagan 6 minutes off down to the 6-minute mark. Another one. Okanagan is a D, D1. Another interception. Wow. All right, 2 interceptions for Okanagan. So St. John's defense coming up strong here, and they're both on the D rating here, so St. John's is going to move up to the C rating for this one. And right down to right 6 minutes off the clock, they run out the clock with a C5, and they're able to score a field goal with time running out. And there you go, 2 quarters down. two very quick quarters. So in the second quarter, Okanagan scoring 3, St. John's scoring 6. So at halftime here, it is the St. John's Clippers 13 and Okanagan Suns 3. Okanagan down by 10. All right, third quarter, Okanagan with a B rating and St. John's with an A rating. And Okanagan is going to start the half here. All right, 6 minutes off the clock, down to the 9-minute mark. That's a 2. Okanagan with a B2. That's a punt or a missed field goal. That's a missed field goal. And no, it's not a ruse, just a missed field goal. St. John's coming back here. What do you got for us? 6 minutes off the clock, down to the 3-minute mark. St. John's with the 1. What? Lots of ones rolled today. St. John's, we are in quarter 3. A1 is a punt or a missed field goal. And they got to punt it away. So, a couple of possessions there, no scores. Okanagan. There we go. 1 minute off the clock, down to the 2-minute mark. And that's a 2. And that is a B2. Punt or a missed field goal. That's a punt. So, it's been a bit of a defensive game here. 1, 2, 3 interceptions in the first half. No turnovers in the second half, but a couple of punts here early on. St. John's. 5 minutes off the clock. We're moving into quarter 4. This game is going quick. So that's down to the 12-minute mark of quarter 4. St. John's quarter 4 is a C1 interception. Okay, Okanagan, can you take advantage? Okanagan on the C rating up to a B. 5 minutes off the clock, down to the 7-minute mark. Running out of time, Okanagan. That is a B3. That's a field goal. Sorry, I didn't throw the score up because there is no score, right? Quarter 3, no score. No one scoring there. So, after 3 quarters... St. John's 13, Okanagan 3. Okanagan's put 3 more on the board, so they're down by a touchdown. All right, St. John's with the ball. 6 minutes off the clock. Wow, long drive with a 5. I think this is the nail in the coffin there for the Suns. What am I looking at here? St. John's quarter 4, C5. That's a field goal. So I think that is the end. We'll roll, even if I roll a 1, it gets down to the last minute or, game ending. Even if they score a touchdown, they can't do anything, they can't win. Yeah, and there you go, game is over. Game is over, fourth quarter, they each score a field goal. There's our final. Low scoring defensive game. Okanagan Suns 6, St. John's Clippers 16. So, St. John's Clippers, Graham Cup 1 champions. Nice. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's it. My football time season is over. Awesome. I was hoping for a little more of an exciting game there, a little more points, but lots of turnovers. But just, how many touchdowns did we have? We had 1 touchdown that whole game. It was on St. John's first possession, and that, probably that's where it started. St. John just started cruising there. So, yeah, awesome. I guess I'll probably have I'll put some time aside to come up with some, off-season rules and maybe put together an off-season video for football time. So, excited for that. So, yeah, thanks everybody for joining me and hope you enjoyed it too.